how many of you knew that in Taiwan, when a class finishes, it's the pupil, so instead of the pupils getting up, rushing into the corridor, it's a human stampede, a human traffic jam, everyone arrives to class late, it's actually the teachers that get up and then swiftly move to the next class, and all the classes start on time. How many of you actually knew that? So 0 or 1? Tentative 1. So the only reason I knew that will be coming up very soon. But essentially, it's because I got to travel with 3 Taiwanese students when I was doing a journey from London to Oxford. And so that was thanks to BlaBlaCar. Here we go. And I guess the question is, what were 3 Taiwanese students doing going from London to Oxford? And essentially, they represent an increasing desire to be mobile and to be where you want to be, when you want to be. But essentially, our increasing desire to be mobile comes at a cost. And since year 2000, there are 423 million more vehicles on the road today, and also emitting an additional 11 billion tons of CO2 every year. So what I want to do quickly today is introduce to you exactly what BlaBlaCar is and how it's a solution to that. Secondly, I want to touch a bit more on trust, and there was a question about that earlier, and show you how we've addressed that, because without being able to create trust between our members, we wouldn't be where we are today. And finally, I want to show you a few of the virtuous effects of this behavior trait. So just to make sure we're on the same page, BlaBlaCar is an app and website that connects drivers driving long distances, on average 200 miles, with passengers heading the same way, so that they can share the cost of a journey. So typically, if you're driving from London to Manchester, in your car on your own, it's going to cost you about £50. You've got depreciation, fuel cost, wear and tear, insurance, tax. On the other hand, if you offer your ride on BlaBlaCar, you're then going to take some passengers who can book a journey with you. They'll each contribute roughly £14 for this journey, which means that you as a driver travel for a measly £8, and the passengers get to travel for £14, which on average would be 75% cheaper than the train, and even more so last minute. So one of the things we're doing is we're unlocking a travel inventory, which are empty seats in people's cars. And to give you an idea of the size of this travel inventory, today, when people travel from one city to another, 78% of those journeys happen by car, which often surprises people because generally people assume that a lot more happen by train or by bus or by plane. And within those journeys, the average car occupancy in the UK is just 1.6 people per car. That's the number of seats that we have that are traveling empty on our roads. And so that's allowed us to see fantastic growth, where we've been managing to double the number of members year on year for the past 4 years. So we now have 20 million members. However, that stat is not one that we like to look at too long, because it doesn't really represent the value that we're creating. And the value that we're creating is the number of people who actually travel with BlaBlaCar. So today we transport 10 million people a quarter, which, to give you an idea of scale, is roughly 3 times as many as travel with the Eurostar. So where can you do this? You can now do this not in 20, but in 22 countries. We opened last year in India, Brazil, Mexico, so you can travel from Hamburg to Berlin just like you can Sao Paulo to Rio with one app. So what we are really is a travel search engine, but also a social network, because people will meet online to then meet in person. And so all this wouldn't be possible if people weren't able to trust each other. So I just want to take you through a framework that we developed, which is called the DREAMS framework, and was introduced by our founder, Fred, at TEDx and Le Web. And what DREAMS is an acronym for the 6 pillars of trust in the sharing economy. So essentially, in order for people to trust each other, information needs to have these 6 characteristics. And I'll relate to examples at BlaBlaCar, but these apply elsewhere as well. So firstly, information needs to be declared. So So on BlaBlaCar, people will provide some information about themselves. Benita earlier said that it's a sense of familiarity. You want to know who you're traveling with. So here there's a short biography, but also in our case, people will say how much they like to chat on a level between blah and blah, 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 which is obviously where our name comes from. Information is also rated. So after a journey, members will rate each other. However, one slight difference is that people have met in real life. They spent on average 2 to 3 hours with each other, so they have a lot of information on which to rate the other member. And passengers are also able to rate the driver anonymously. Information needs to be engaged. So in our case, our passengers are booking by paying online before they travel. And what that means is that the driver knows that the passenger will show up because they've paid for the journey. We used to have a model where that didn't happen, and it was simply a messaging platform, but we were able to increase the reliability of the service through having the passengers engaged beforehand. Information is also activity-based, because a great host on Airbnb may not be a fantastic driver on BlaBlaCar, so the information is relative to the activity that it's declared in. Information also needs to be moderated. We have a team of moderators who work 7 days a week and who moderate all of the content that's published on BlaBlaCar. And what that means is that they're able to control and make sure that the content is in the right spirit of the community. And if there were to be bad actors, then there's someone there who can proactively take action. And finally, information is social. You're much more likely to want to travel with someone if you can see that, like you, they have friends on Facebook, connections on LinkedIn. It brings them into the real world. So we wanted to find out how much trust we've been able to create with these various different features. So we did a survey with our members, and we asked them to rate out of 5 how much they would trust each of these different groups of people. So not surprisingly, strangers are trusted the least, but friends and family are trusted the most. We then asked them, out of 5, how much would you trust someone who has a full dreams profile on BlaBlaCar? And the answer to that was 4.3. So it's amazing how much trust we were able to create between people who've never met before, simply through this dreams framework. However, there's always more that we can be doing. That's where we are today, but for example, we recently also launched a partnership with AXA where we provide free additional insurance on all the journeys that are booked through BlaBlaCar. So now, if, for example, you are a passenger in a BlaBlaCar and the car breaks down, there is breakdown cover and onward travel, which means that you'll make it to your journey regardless. Again, I sort of presented the whole dreams framework in a clean sweep, and realistically what happened is that over a number of years, we added features which then got us to where we are today. But what we definitely noticed is that it was the addition of all these features that really allowed us to see our growth take up. And so once the trust barrier has been broken, we realized that our members join us for the savings. Again, Benita said something similar. But they then realized that actually it makes for a much more enjoyable travel experience. They like meeting new people, and they get a good feeling from sharing their journey with others. So they stay for the sharing, and they love it for the freedom it affords them, because they can now be more mobile. Okay, so now we have a good understanding of behavior. I just want to touch on a few of the positive effects that this behavior has for not only sort of the world as a whole, but also for the members themselves. So again, this is all sort of relating back to people wanting to travel more, and this having a cost on our environment and our infrastructure. So today, I mentioned to you that we're particularly bad at this in the UK. The average car occupancy is 1.6 in the UK, it's 1.7 in Europe. However, within the BlaBlaCar community, it's 2.8. So there's 2 major positive things there, which are fuel emissions and less congestion, thanks to this. But also, we're able to, in a sense, create additional mobility, because we know that 28% of our members, of our passengers, sorry, would not have travelled or would have driven alone if it wasn't for BlaBlaCar. So we're taking cars off the road and also allowing people to travel when they wouldn't otherwise, which is to go and see their family at the weekend, see their girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, husband in another city. And you can't see that very well, actually, but there's a sort of dark blue line rising there. Again, something that we need to have happen is a change in mentality of people thinking they must actually own their car and drive themselves from A to B. And we know that our members who originally joined as drivers, 60% of them end up using BlaBlaCar as a passenger. So there's a shift in mentality that's going on there because they realise that they don't always need their car to get from A to B. And so what that means is that overall we're managing to save a lot of energy, and we've calculated in the last 2 years we saved enough energy to light Los Angeles for 1 year. But the thing is, all these things are great, but it's not why really our members use it. It's a nice kind of, it's a cherry on the cake, but they use it because it brings them value and they enjoy the service. So these are really the key points. 80% of our members say that it's the most affordable mode of transport compared to the previous alternatives that they had. And also, as I touched on it, but one of the main aspects is that people suddenly start to feel more mobile and they can get to where they want more easily. Typically, especially in the UK, on a route like Oxford to Cambridge, which is badly served by public transport, we're able to connect a point A to a point B, which previously was not connected. So it'll be faster than the bus or the train, I mean, especially the train if you're going via London, but it'll also be cheaper, and as touched upon, it's also a more enjoyable way of travelling. So it's really these reasons that have been fueling our growth, and to give you an idea of where things are heading, we've managed to double the number of people that we transport on a yearly basis year on year for the past 4 years. So in 2015, we transported 40 million people. If that trend continues, then by the year 2017, we'll transport more people than Delta Airlines, which is the largest US airline. So essentially, if you haven't already given it a go, you might also learn some interesting facts about Taiwan, but that isn't necessarily guaranteed. If you have any questions, then I'd be happy to answer them for you.